Hey guys, I feel like we have so much to talk about, and I know there's already a lot of you guys in the room. So I'm going to say hi to who has said hello already. So hi, Jennifer, Brittany, Vanessa, Esther, Eli, Firkin, Rachel, Ben, and Callie. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you are here and you haven't said hey yet, go ahead and say hey. I'm so glad to see all of you guys in the room. It was another amazing episode of How to Get Away with Murder, and it's crazy to me. I think we only have 3 left in this season, which makes me really sad because this second half has been so extremely short. Hi, Jay. Thanks for being here. I don't even know where to start. We have so much to talk about. First of all, I want to mention that some of you may have noticed, if you go back and look for your comment that you made on either of my videos from the past 2 days, Riverdale and How to Get Away with Murder, there's something going on with YouTube, and it's been happening the past few weeks where comments disappear. They usually come back a few hours later. So if you're not seeing your comment, or if I haven't replied, it's not because I'm ignoring you or I deleted it or anything. There's something really strange going on, at least with my channel, where the comments disappear. I get a notification I have a comment from you. Sometimes I can read it, sometimes I can't. Today I could read them, and then like last week I couldn't. So I go into reply and they're totally not there, but they should come back. So no worries. There's some kind of weird something going on, but a couple of you pointed it out to me that it's happening again today, and I checked it and it is. So one of the big things I want to talk to you about from this week's episode is who was Wes talking to on the phone. I've seen some of you in my comments say it was Eve, and I definitely do not believe that it is Eve. My opinion is that they are going to reveal a secret to us, actual family member of Wes that he has been in contact with, or he was in contact with, that we did not know. We know it's not his mom. We know it's not his dad, but it is somebody else. Because they're referring to him as Christoph, and that was the name given to him by his mom. And I don't think Eve would call him that, and no one in his life who we know would refer to him as that. So it's somebody that he actually knew as a kid, who's, I think, his family member who he has kept in contact with, but we didn't know that was going on. Now, that does open it up to something I think we've mentioned a couple of times, kind of in a joking way. Could he have a twin? I do not think that they're going to go with Wes is alive, the twin is dead, or that he has a twin. I think a lot of people are making this a Pretty Little Liars, and I personally don't think it's going to, on purpose or not on purpose, mirror that show. Personally, I do not. But I think it's a smarter show than that, and I just don't think the false death is going to be something that happens, whether he does have a twin or whether he doesn't. I still get a lot of comments that, I'm sorry, my phone's ringing. Hold on just a second. I'm still getting a lot of comments that people think that he's still alive, regardless of any family members. I don't think he's still alive either, and I say that with respect to everyone who's a Super Wes fan. Sure, I still would like for him to be alive. I don't think he's alive, and I hope he's not alive, because again, I just think that that would hurt the credibility of the show personally. And yes, the big news that was announced just a couple of hours ago on social media for How to Get Away with Murder is that it was renewed for a 4th season, which I don't think any of us had doubts that it would be, but I'm super happy to see that news. Okay, we do have more things to talk about that I wanted to get to, but I'm going to get to your comments right now because there are so many. And you remember, you've probably been here before. If I miss your comment, please comment again. They're literally flying by right now. I'm going to get to the ones I can currently see. Ralph is wondering if the person Wes called might actually be Nate or one of Rebecca's friends. But I think our big clue here is that he called himself Christoph, and I don't know why he would need to use a secret name in front of a cab driver, so I don't think that was the issue. I feel like it's someone who knew him as Christoph, and that could, I feel like, only be someone from his personal life when he was Christoph, when he went by the name Christoph. That's what I think. Wit is here wondering if there is a twin. Personally, I think no, but you think that possibly Wes is still dead, but there is a twin who is still alive. I mean, that would be an interesting way to incorporate Alfred into the show and to not hurt the credibility. I don't know. I'm just kind of hoping it's not that way, Giuliano saying no twins. And even if that does happen, I definitely don't think anybody's copying Pretty Little Liars. And I mean, if that he happens to have a twin, I really don't think they're like, let's do what Pretty Little Liars did. You know, even though most of us watch both shows, I don't think that means they get inspiration, or I hope they don't get inspiration from that show. Jason says, what do I think the season finale's name Wes means? So the season finale is simply titled Wes. I feel that we will find out who his killer is in that episode. I do think they will wrap up that mystery this season. Hi, Brendan. Thank you for being here. What do I think about Laurel's speech? Laurel's speech at the memorial was funny, but I guess if you were really there in real life and that happened, probably not so funny. She's just kind of pretty much losing it. I laughed at it, but you know, in real life, it's sad because she's just kind of falling apart because she's so devastated, which is understandable. Who took Wes's body? Asked Allie. I think Wes's body is still around. I think Ralph had commented earlier that on my channel that it had just been moved. I do believe it's been moved somewhere. Now, the bigger question is why was it moved? And I think perhaps the first autopsy was not correct, or it was something that was paid off by Frank or whatever. I think there's something in a correct autopsy that somebody doesn't want to get out there because maybe they're the killer or it points to them being the killer. So, yes, Laurel, the girl who plays Laurel, can't think of her real name right now, is Lucas saying, was incredibly wonderful. Her acting was amazing last night. Ralph says Wes's body being moved was Bonnie and Frank's desperation move to get AK's case thrown out. That makes the most sense, that they were trying so many different things to get her out of jail or just out on bail or something. Finally, Annalise had to force someone to attack her in order to get herself out on bail. Again, she's just out on bail. She's still considered a co-conspirator in his death. Giuliano says when Connor called Oliver a good liar a couple of times, it caused a really weird tension between them, or was it just me? Is Oliver trustworthy? Oliver is one of the main people I wanted to talk to you guys about tonight. I felt very weird during that scene. You know, I've had him as a suspect. I didn't know what he might do or what he had done, but I believed pretty much for the longest you know, Marlene, she loves to mess with me. I'll just keep talking. But Oliver, I do not think anymore is a, uh-oh, looks like I'm gone. Let me see here. Can you guys see me? I'm taking that to no. Okay, let's check on this. Let's check on this. It looks good from here. Yay, I think I'm back. Okay, so let's talk about Oliver. I really was buying into the theory that Oliver was an undercover cop, but after yesterday, I disagree with that theory because he, unless this is all part of the big, you know, scheme to hide the fact that he's an undercover cop, you know, he got called in by the cops to, yeah, Oliver is hacking me. Of course, I like that, King. Thank you. He got called in to answer questions. And unless this is some, you know, big thing that the cops, I just don't feel like they would spend that much time trying to make him. No one is suspecting within the Keating 4 that he is an undercover cop. So why would the cops go to great lengths to try to make everyone believe that he's not really an undercover cop by calling him in for questioning? So, the scene with him and Connor, I think, was a big clue to viewers who are paying attention. I definitely think something's still going on with him, and I don't think it's good. When Connor said, "You're a really good liar," and then he made examples of it. Remember the weird stuff he did when Connor was trying to get into Stanford? I mean, it gives me chills just thinking about it. I don't know what is going on here, but he could still be the person who killed Wes. I know that's a little far-fetched, but Ralph had pointed out earlier that perhaps he was doing it to protect Connor. I don't know. I still haven't left Maggie out. Maggie was in this episode, not featured really, but she was still there lurking. And, you know, why are they keeping this woman around? Why is she relevant? I thought it was really interesting to see Simon back in this scenario. Okay, Ralph is saying if Oliver is undercover, cops wouldn't know. So if he's FBI, then local cops who talk to him would not know. So that's still okay. So we can still go with he's the undercover cop. I don't know. Nikki's asking what I think is on the flash drive. Well, we're led to believe it is obviously Annalise's phone records. I was hoping they were going to get into that last night. They didn't. I want them to. I want to know what's there. I'm really interested in that. Simon shows back up in last night's episode, and I don't know why he's back. We know he is really shady, and I kind of thought the show had just dropped him. He comes back and he immediately starts pointing the finger at Annalise. I don't know if we should be looking at him still, because guilty people love to make other people look guilty. And I think it was interesting that he showed up and he started talking about how Annalise was guilty and everyone knows it. All right. Whit says the only reason you don't think Oliver is a cop is why go through everything with Connor getting tested, all of it. Well, because he could really actually have HIV. You know, that may not be part of the cover up or whatever part of his acting. That's kind of what I'm wondering. I don't know. Mega Era says the transition at the start of the episode. This is a comment that you made on my channel, which was excellent. The transition at the start of the episode really made you suspect that there is something more to Oliver than meets the eye. And Mega pointed out that there was a sequence where I don't know, I can't remember exactly how you said it or exactly how it happened, but like handcuffs were being put on Annalise, I believe, as Oliver was placing a watch on his wrist. So you have the theme of incarceration in a way, even though a watch is not incarceration, but you know what I mean. It could be foreshadowing to Oliver being the bad guy and having handcuffs later. I'm gonna try to get to a lot of your comments and stop talking so much. Let's see. Luke freaked out when Annalise was getting beat up, but she planned it, even though it was brutal. We all knew she was behind it. Anakin loved Michaela's kindness to Laurel. Me too. She's been great lately. I thought that was wonderful. Giovanni says Oliver hacked the DA office for Annalise so they could see that Wes was the rat, so he killed him, I think is what you're saying. Ralph says if Simon is legit, then how he reacted would be normal. Okay, yeah. So the other side of that is probably a lot of people, especially because it's circulating through the media, believe that Annalise is the killer. And if he believes that, he's reading the papers, watching the news, and he just believes that, and it's not that weird. So I can see both sides of that. I do not think at all that Nate is the killer. Remember, Nate used to meet up with Wes several times in the first half of last season, and we found out last night that they had planned to meet at Annalise's house. Neither, Wes didn't look scared or Wes didn't look surprised. Nate didn't look surprised. So that was a planned meeting where they both felt safe. I think the show would like for you to believe that Nate trapped him there and then killed him. And, he brought him there thinking they were just going to talk and then he killed him. I don't believe that at all. Ben says the fact that they were all a bit suspicious of Maggie at the funeral kind of makes you believe that she's involved, as they've never said anything about her after that in the episode. It was very hush-hush. And really, the only person who made a big deal out of Maggie possibly being shady was Laurel, which I think even further supports the theory that she is involved in some way, because the people that they really focus on and really point fingers at, and when it's more than one person saying this person's guilty, it's usually not that person. Okay, I'm scrolling down, so many comments. Chad says Oliver killing Wes, or at least being a part of the murder, is not far-fetched. How did he have all those questions for Connor when he has all this power to get information he needs? Shady. Yes, he's very shady. Absolutely, he's been shady since day one. And one of my main reasons for keeping him on the shady list, couple of reasons. First of all, he has a very endearing personality. People will comment on my videos like, I don't think he's the killer because he's so sweet, he's so nice, he looks innocent. And that's perfect for the perfect disguise for a killer who could be a diabolical killer. I mean, if you look shady, if you look suspicious, you are going to not get away with as much stuff. But my main reason is that we've never learned anything. Oh, hi, Linda. I know Linda. I didn't know you watch my channel. Thanks for being here. But I think if you are the thing about Oliver that I really think makes him the most shady and still keeps him shady is that we have never learned anything about his backstory. Do you guys know his family? Have you met any of his friends from wherever he's from? Where is he from? Allie's asking, what's a scapegoat? That's like where you blame someone for something who didn't really, you kind of frame them, okay? You could look at Nate as a scapegoat in this. Like everyone is trying to point fingers at him. I also think he didn't sign over that paperwork to have Nate's body moved. I think someone's framing him in that sense. Kendall, hi, thank you so much for being here. But anyway, we really don't know anything about Oliver, and what we do know about him is really positive stuff. Like, we don't know any character flaws that he has really, except yes, he has lied, but then that was kind of glossed over. He tried to get away from Connor. We don't really know why. Ralph says killers are normally lovable and well-mannered. Yes, because you're not going to be an effective killer if you give the vibe of killer, if you have, no friends, you can't get along with people. This sounds creepy, like I'm telling you guys how to be killers, but a successful killer, especially a serial killer, is someone who can earn the trust of people, who can blend into society, who can get access to people and places in order to eventually kill them. I think I watched too much Dexter back in the day, but if you enjoy serial killer shows, Dexter was a really good show until the end if you're looking for something to binge. Just to talk about the mind of how a killer works. It's very interesting if you've never watched that show. Anyway, let's get to some more comments. Okay, so we had a lot of confusion about Annalise's mom and the fire. Okay, no, Annalise's mom did not start the fire that Wes either died before or died in. We think he died before. But she has dementia, and she kind of thinks that she did do that because she set a fire in the past because that man was abusing Annalise, and I hope that clears stuff up for you guys. No one believes, except for maybe her mom, that she's involved in this crime, but she wanted to tell the police that she was involved and get her daughter off the hook because she kind of was twisting those two stories. Okay, let's go back to the comments. Yeah, Dexter's really good, but if you've never seen Dexter, the finale for the series is really terrible, and it's just really awful. Sadly, it's awful. Gilliana says you love Annalise's mom and you hope nothing bad happens to her because of the dementia. I think she's a very sweet character, and I also hope that, I feel like she may die somewhere in this series, but I don't think it's coming anytime soon. I don't see that fitting in right now. Yes, so Chad says, do you think they purposely made Bonnie the worst lawyer? I was thinking about her last night. She's doing a really bad job of defending Annalise. Annalise is having to do things herself, like purposely get beat up in jail in order to help herself. Her lawyer is not helping her. I don't know. I don't think Bonnie would try to sabotage Annalise. I think she loves Annalise. But I know she's kind of being suspicious, but I don't think that she killed Wes. I really don't. Okay. Rachel says a lot of things. Do I think Laurel is going to lose the baby? That's definitely something I have thought before, and they haven't really focused on that very much. There's still the thought and the theory that several of you have that Maggie will do something to cause her to lose the baby, but I don't know if that's going to happen anymore because Laurel's out of the hospital, so I feel like that's a lot less likely. I really don't know where they're going to go with that, but I think it would be very bizarre if they have a child on the show, and if so, if she has the baby and keeps the baby, I don't know how her character is going to continue with the show. I feel like if she has it, which I hope she does, that someone in her family will take care of it, or she will give it up for adoption or something along those lines. Yes, so the fire involving AK's mother was a season 1 topic if you want to brush up on that, but I know it did confuse some people. Rachel wonders why Simon Drake was at the funeral. I mean, there was a lot of people there, and that's what made Laurel mad, because she feels like they were just there to kind of be nosy, that they didn't really know Wes that well. But when there are funerals, sometimes, just because he was your classmate, you want to come and show your support and give your condolences. So I don't think it was necessarily weird. I mean, he did know Wes, and there was a lot of people there that we never even seen before who I guess had class with Wes or whatever. So I don't think that was weird. but I'm not going to completely remove him from the suspicious list right now. I definitely do think, as Kendall is saying, that Maggie, I stand by my theories that Maggie's involved in this some way, somehow. I'm not going to give up on that thought at all. It was very funny when Laurel told the woman at the hospital that she was going to go to hell one day. The woman at the hospital was not being rude. She was just following the rules, or I guess she was at the morgue because she wanted to see Wes's body, and it's part of a police investigation, and you can't just go look at a dead person's body. So I don't think that woman was being rude at all. But it was funny. There were a lot of funny moments with Laurel that really shouldn't have been funny, but that were funny. So anyway, I'm very interested to see what is going to happen with Oliver and Maggie, and how and if they are involved, with just 3 episodes left. And I still feel like if Oliver doesn't turn out to be involved in this, or it's not revealed that he's involved in any way, I feel like he's still going to be revealed later, and it's going to be a huge reveal whenever they finally give us more info about what's been going on with him. I think if maybe they're saving that for some huge reveal down the road, but if they want to do it this season, I'm fine with that too. Stephanie says, do I think Connor has something to do with the whole situation? She says he's dodgy this season. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of red herring stuff going on this season too. I feel like there's a few people that they keep kind of messing with us with because they want to confuse us as to who could be Wes's killer. And I think those people are Bonnie, Nate, and Connor, and I don't think that they're involved, but I think they would like for us to believe they're involved. So, and I also think they probably kind of want us to believe Frank is involved, and maybe Annalise. So they're just kind of playing with those people, but I personally don't think any of those 5 are involved. Kashif says that Oliver can't turn them in without turning himself in. He would get dragged down with them. So if he is an undercover cop, yes, I see that side of it. Maybe he is an undercover cop or was an undercover cop, but he's abandoned that mission now because he's involved, or he could say that his involvement was only to get more info. But I mean, I feel like here's the other thing. If he is an undercover cop, why don't we know that yet? Don't you think he has enough dirt on all of them to take them all down? So either he's not an undercover cop, or he was an undercover cop who has lied or said that, they're not involved or something, and he's just being himself at this point. But I still will go back to my original theory that he's actually sinister, and he has been this entire time. And why is he involved with all of them? Because he's connected to one of the crimes from the past, or maybe even something in Annalise's past that we don't even know, because stuff's been going down with her for years and years and years before she met these students. So he could be the son of somebody she screwed over. I have no idea. But I think that all of that would be such an epic reveal one of these days. Ralph says that Nate is about finding Wes's killer because he would not let Laurel see the body, because he would let Laurel see the body, but not Annalise's mom. Yeah, I think Nate is actually trying to find out who killed Wes. That's what I think. And I also think that he thought possibly Annalise killed him or was involved, so he doesn't really know how to deal with her, and that's why he's not like being really close or really nice to her. The Huntress, hi, thank you so much for being here. Luke says, since the last 2 season finales had someone found dead at the end, Rebecca and Caleb, I think someone's going to be found dead in the season 3 finale. Well, we did have Wes found dead in the middle, in the first half finale, so that could be our dead person for this season, but I don't know. Ralph says, what you meant was that Nate would help Laurel, but he would not help Annalise's mom. Yes. Anakin's telling us about an Instagram page called How to Get Away with Murder Confessions, or HTG, oh my God, that is such a tongue twister, HTGAWM Confessions. So that's a theory page if you guys are into, who isn't? We're all into theories. Thank you, I didn't even know about that. If you are on Instagram and are interested in following them, he says, and that is a good page for theories. We are almost out of time. which sucks, but I do have to wrap it up in a few minutes because we have the Riverdale chat at 6, but let's keep talking. So the Huntress says, for some reason, you feel like Nate knows who killed Wes, but is working with them. Possibly not. He's keeping it a secret. I mean, I kind of hope that he's not. Okay, so maybe he knows. I think what you're saying is that he knows who killed Wes, but he's not, hopefully not on their side. I'm not really sure what you're saying. But anyway, I don't think that Nate is involved with killing Wes, and I don't think he wanted him dead, and I don't think he'd be protecting someone who he knows killed him. I personally think he's trying to figure out who killed him. Remember all of the meetings he had with him? I don't know. I think he's on Wes's side, and I think he's trying to get to the bottom of his murder, but that's just what I think. So let's think clearly here because we have 3 episodes left, so we should all be getting to the point of identifying a main suspect. And it's very hard for me right now because I'm torn between Maggie and Oliver. I really want it to be Oliver because I have been suspicious of him for so long, and it would just make me the happiest person in the world if we had Oliver as our killer because I've had that feeling about him for so long, and I want it to be real. But here's the thing about him. I really like Oliver, and he is very likable. But I have such a problem, as I've said a million times, with not knowing anything about him. We know nothing bad about him. We know no character flaws. We know nothing about his family. And there's something not right about that because look at everybody else. We know somebody in their family. We've met somebody. We know stuff about them. We know dirt on them. What's his deal? Why didn't they like have an episode where Connor meets Oliver's mom, sister, brother, dad, something? Wouldn't that make sense in real life? Wouldn't you meet someone's family member? I don't know. I hope Annalise's mom does not die or someone murders her at the end, the Huntress. I hope not. I don't want that. That's sad. Like, that just feels unnecessary unless someone's really trying to get Annalise back or something. Let's hope not. I don't feel like they're going that way, at least not now. I do think in the finale we'll get a flashback. We're kind of getting bits and pieces of what happened that night that Wes died, and I think we'll get all of it put together in the finale because usually that's what the show does, so I'm really happy to see that. Brittany cannot wait for Oliver to finally be revealed as evil, and I don't know, and for those of you who go other places to look for theories on this show, are other people thinking it's Oliver? Because I know a lot of you guys and me, we've thought about Oliver for a long time, but are other people picking up on this, or is it just here in this little group that we have here? Asia feels that Maggie is related to Atwood because she did tell Wes in another episode that her aunt is a lawyer. I had someone ask me, Edible Vampires on Twitter, asked me, what episode did Maggie say that her aunt was her lawyer? Wait a minute, that she had an aunt who was a lawyer. I don't know. I feel like it was this season. If anybody knows, let me know so I can let her know. Milo Mom says, the DA, I think you're saying, who likes Nate has something to do with it. I definitely think she could, or I think she's a massive red herring. We know she's almost too obviously angry and out to get Annalise. I don't think she's the killer. Could she be involved? Yes, but she's a little bit almost over the top angry and hateful for her to be like super involved, I think. But again, I definitely really, really like the theory of having her be related to Maggie and them working together somehow. Brittany has seen people think it's Oliver, but they haven't talked about it in a while. Definitely he's been on the DL this season as a suspect, and he's still been very, very low-key as a suspect, even in last night's episode. But I think you really have to read between the lines, and I'm hoping that they're trying to make it so subtle, the hints they're throwing out, for just the people who are really paying attention and who have really paid attention throughout the entire series, basically, because I think the payoff could be huge. And again, if he's not Wes's killer, or if he's not revealed, he could be involved, but he's not revealed. They may be saving that for some massive like series ending thing, but this show probably is going to go on forever. But I don't know what they're doing with that. They may be building it up to save it for some kind of epic, epic, epic reveal, or not. I mean, if they want to do it this season, I'm down for that. I'm just excited. So let me try to find some more comments before we go quickly. The Huntress wants to know, why didn't Wes sign the immunity paper again? And I am blank on that. Someone's going to have to help me with that. Emilio asked if I think Eve was the person who Wes called, and I don't, just because I don't know. I know she knew his name was Christoph, but I don't remember that. Did she always refer to him as just Christoph? I feel like it's a family member who we haven't met yet, who he knew from back in his day, in the days when everyone called him Christoph. So it's actually time for me to wrap this up. There were so many people here tonight, so this was amazing. If you came in late or whatever, this will be up on my channel in 5 minutes. And if you want to comment a comment that I might have missed there, I will comment back, as I always do. I have a Riverdale chat at 6, and I know a lot of you guys watch that show as well. So hope to see you guys back here at 6 p.m. so we can chat all about Riverdale and Jason Blossom's murder. But if you haven't watched Riverdale, you're just a few episodes behind 3. It's really, really good. And if you're in the US, you can watch it on the CW app. So catch up, and then you can start coming to those videos as well. But I really appreciate you guys being here. This was so much fun, and I'll have a theory video up tomorrow about this show, and I hope to see you guys in just a few minutes right here for Riverdale. Bye, guys.